Chapter 7 of this harrowing tale plunges us into the abyss of despair, where hope is but a distant memory. Tragedy strikes, swift and merciless, like a storm that shows no mercy. The idyllic facade of the Frankenstein family shatters, leaving only shards of grief and sorrow. Young William, so full of life and promise, is found lifeless, his innocence stolen. His murder, a monstrous act, casts a long shadow over the narrative, darkening every corner of their lives.
Lost in my scientific pursuits, I received a letter from home, one that would change everything. It carried not the warmth of family, but the icy hand of death, chilling me to the bone. My brother William is gone, his bright future extinguished in an instant.
The news crashes over him, a wave of despair drowning his fleeting joy, leaving him gasping for air. Victor rushes back to Geneva, his heart a leaden weight in his chest, each step heavier than the last. He is returning not to a home, but to a tomb where memories of joy are now ghosts of sorrow. The joy he felt upon receiving the letter, now a bitter memory, consumed by the flames of grief. Guilt begins to stir within him, a venomous serpent in his soul, whispering of his failures and regrets. The normally tranquil village of Belrive seethes with suspicion and fear. Whispers of the murder hang heavy in the air, a miasma of dread. William's death is a wound on the soul of the village, a gash that runs deep. The circumstances of the murder are shrouded in a chilling mystery. A child snatched away in the night, a family left to grapple with the unthinkable. The shadow of the creature, though unseen, looms large over the tragedy.
Upon seeing my brother's lifeless form, I was overcome with a horrifying realization. I recognized the mark of the creature upon William's neck. The creature, my creation, has taken the life of my brother. The guilt, sharp and searing, begins to consume me.
Suspicion falls upon Justine Moritz, a kind and gentle soul who had been like a sister to William. A locket, a miniature portrait of William's mother, is found in her pocket. Circumstantial evidence, but enough to condemn her in the eyes of the court.
I am bewildered and terrified. I proclaim my innocence.
Her pleas fall on deaf ears, lost in the storm of fear and anger that engulfs the village. The villagers, blinded by grief and a thirst for justice, are quick to condemn.
My conscience aflame with guilt and horror, I know the truth. I know that Justine is innocent, that the true murderer, the monster I created, walks free. But fear paralyzes me. The fear of being labeled a madman, of my dark secret being exposed.
Victor's silence becomes his tormentor, a heavy chain shackling his voice. His fear of judgment, of the world's disbelief, prevents him from speaking the truth. He becomes complicit in the miscarriage of justice, his inaction condemning an innocent soul.
I wrestle with the moral implications of my creation, the dreadful consequences of my ambition. The creature, born of noble intentions, has become a harbinger of death and despair. My silence is a betrayal, not only of Justine, but of my own humanity.
The weight of his secret crushes him, a heavy burden in his soul. He is a prisoner in his own mind, haunted by the knowledge of Justine's innocence and his role in her impending doom. His guilt festers, a poisonous vine choking his spirit. The evidence against Justine, though circumstantial, is enough to sway the jury. The locket, the missing hours, her own fear-stricken demeanor all weave a tapestry of guilt in the eyes of the court.
Justine is innocent. Please, you must believe me. She could never commit such a crime.
Elizabeth, Victor's beloved, pleads for Justine's innocence. Her words, filled with anguish and disbelief, fall on deaf ears. The court, blinded by grief and prejudice, seeks only retribution.
I swear I did not do it. I am innocent.
Justine, facing her accusers, maintains her innocence, but her words ring hollow in the face of the mounting evidence. The court, the village, have already passed judgment. She is condemned not by guilt, but by circumstance.
Justine, I won't abandon you. No matter how dark the days may seem, I will stand by your side. We have faced many challenges together, and this will be no different. I promise, we will find a way through this. We will fight for justice, and we will not let despair take hold of us. Together, we are stronger than the darkness that surrounds us.
Elizabeth, her spirit unbroken, refuses to abandon Justine. She is a beacon of hope in these trying times, a symbol of unwavering loyalty and friendship. She visits her in prison, offering words of comfort and support. Each visit is a reminder that Justine is not alone, that there is still someone who believes in her innocence.
Elizabeth, I confessed. I confessed to a crime I didn't commit. The weight of the accusations was too much to bear, and I felt trapped with no way out. I couldn't bear it anymore. The constant pressure, the fear, it all became too overwhelming. I thought that by confessing I could find some peace, some end to this nightmare. I just wanted it to end. The endless torment, the sleepless nights, the feeling of being hunted. I thought that maybe, just maybe, this would bring some relief.
But even Elizabeth's unwavering faith cannot shake the dread that has settled over Justine. The fear of the unknown, the looming threat of an unjust punishment, weighs heavily on her soul. Justine, facing her own mortality, breaks down. The reality of her situation crashes over her like a tidal wave, leaving her feeling helpless and lost. She confesses to the crime she did not commit, hoping for leniency, for a merciful death. Her confession is a desperate plea, a final attempt to find some semblance of control in a world that has turned against her. Her confession, a product of despair and coercion, seals her fate. The system that should protect the innocent has instead become her executioner.
Oh, Justine, what have I done? This is all my fault. If only I had spoken up sooner. If only I had the courage to stand against the tide of injustice.
Victor, witnessing the tragic consequences of his silence, is racked with guilt. He sees the pain and suffering that his inaction has caused, and it tears at his very soul. He sees the injustice unfolding before his eyes, the life of an innocent woman being extinguished by his creation, by his inaction. The weight of his guilt is a heavy burden, one that he will carry for the rest of his days. The day of Justine's execution dawns, a bleak and somber day. The village gathers, a grim spectacle of judgment and retribution. The shadow of the gallows stretches long, a stark reminder of the impending doom.
I am ready. Let it be over.
Justine, resigned to her fate, walks towards the gallows with a strange sense of serenity. Her spirit, though broken by the ordeal, finds a sliver of peace in accepting the inevitable.
I can't watch this. I have to get away.
Victor, unable to bear the weight of his guilt, flees into the wilderness. He cannot face the culmination of his inaction, the death of an innocent soul. His escape is an act of cowardice, a desperate attempt to outrun the consequences of his choices. News of Justine's execution reaches Victor in his self-imposed exile. The weight of the message is almost unbearable, a cruel reminder of the consequences of his actions. The news, delivered on the back of a cold wind, chills him to the bone. The icy gusts seem to carry whispers of his guilt, echoing through the barren landscape. He's consumed by guilt and despair, the enormity of his loss crashing down upon him. Every breath he takes feels heavy, laden with the sorrow of his irreversible mistakes.
It's all my fault. I am the architect of this tragedy, the one who set these events into motion. The creature, my creation, has destroyed another life. What have I done? The weight of my sins is too much to bear.
The creature, his creation, his responsibility, has destroyed another life. Each broken piece of his world reflects his shattered soul. Victor is left to grapple with the devastating consequences of his ambition, the monstrous reality he has unleashed upon the world. The ruins around him are a testament to his hubris. He is a man broken, shattered by the weight of his guilt. Every reflection he sees is a reminder of the monster within.
This nightmare, it's never ending. Every waking moment is filled with dread, every night haunted by the same relentless terror. My own creation, my dark reflection, haunts me. It is a shadow that I cannot escape, a constant reminder of my darkest deeds.
The creature, his doppelganger, his dark reflection haunts him. It lurks in the shadows, a spectre of his own making. He is trapped in a nightmare of his own making, a labyrinth of despair with no escape. Every turn leads to more darkness, every path a dead end. In the aftermath of Justine's death, a seed of vengeance begins to sprout within Victor. His grief and guilt morph into a burning rage, a desire to right the wrongs that have been committed.
I will hunt you down, creature. I will bring you to justice. This ends now.
He vows to hunt down the creature, his creation, the source of his torment. He will bring it to justice, end the reign of terror it has unleashed. But as he embarks on this perilous quest, he knows that the path ahead is fraught with danger and uncertainty. Chapter 7 ends not with a resolution, but with a promise of further conflict. The tragedy of William and Justine's deaths hangs heavy in the air, a harbinger of the darkness that is to come.